The punch that knocks you out, you never see it coming. But what if I told you that every single punch, no matter how fast, telegraphs itself before it's thrown, and that in the next 6 minutes, I'm going to teach you to read those signs like a book? You know that feeling when you're sparring and suddenly crack, a punch connects that you never even saw? Your head snaps back, your vision blurs for a second, and you're standing there thinking, where the hell did that come from? I've been there. We've all been there. But here's the thing most people don't realize. The difference between getting hit and slipping punches like you're in the Matrix isn't about having superhuman reflexes. It's about learning to see what's actually there. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to develop that sixth sense that separates beginners from fighters who seem untouchable. Let me tell you about my first real sparring session. I was 3 months into training, thought I was hot stuff because I could throw combinations on the heavy bag. My coach paired me up with this guy named Marcus. Quiet dude, maybe 150 pounds soaking wet. I outweighed him by 30 pounds. Round 1, I came out throwing everything. Jab, cross, hook. I was putting it all together. Or so I thought. Marcus barely moved. He just stood there with this calm expression, hands up, and then nothing. I literally don't remember seeing the punch. 1 second I'm attacking, the next I'm reset in the center of the ring with my coach asking if I'm okay. Marcus had countered with a straight right that I never saw coming. It wasn't the hardest punch I'd ever taken, but it was the most humbling, because in that moment, I realized something crucial. I was so focused on throwing punches that I was completely blind to what was coming back at me. That day changed everything. My coach pulled me aside after and said something I'll never forget. You're fighting with your fists. You need to fight with your eyes first. And that's when I started actually learning how to see. Here's the fundamental truth about seeing punches. Your brain can only process what it's looking for. Most beginners make the mistake of watching their opponent's gloves. Makes sense, right? The gloves are what's going to hit you. But by the time you see a glove moving toward your face, it's already too late. That punch has already been launched. You're seeing the end result, not the warning signs. Professional fighters, the ones who seem to have supernatural defensive abilities, they're not watching the gloves. They're reading the story that happens before the punch is thrown. They're watching shoulders, reading eyes, observing weight shifts, noticing small changes in breathing patterns. Think of it like this. If you're watching a horror movie and you only look at the screen when the killer appears, you're going to jump every time. But if you're watching for the music change, the shadow in the background, the sudden silence, you see it coming. You're ready. Fighting works the same way. So let's break down exactly what you should be watching. I'm going to give you the 5-layer system that completely transformed my defensive game. Plus, the common tells gonna make you look psychic in sparring. Layer 1. The eyes and head. Your opponent's eyes will often flick to the target they're about to hit. It's subtle, we're talking milliseconds, but it's there. More importantly, watch for the small head movement. Before most people throw a power shot, their head makes a tiny pullback or dip. It's the body's natural way of loading up. Catch that micro movement and you've got an extra half second of warning. Here's a pro tip. If someone's eyes go dead or glaze over right before they attack, they're about to blitz. Their brain is switching from thinking mode to attack mode. That's your cue to tighten up or create distance. Layer 2. The shoulders. This is the game changer. The shoulders are the engine of every punch. You physically cannot throw a meaningful punch without your shoulder moving first. A jab, the lead shoulder shoots forward. A cross, the rear shoulder rotates and comes forward. A hook, you'll see the shoulder pull back slightly before it whips around. Start watching shoulders in fights. Not just live sparring, watch professional boxing and MMA with this lens. Once you train your eyes to track shoulder movement, it's like someone turned on the lights. Punches that seem to come from nowhere suddenly have a whole story before them. Layer 3. The hips and feet. Power comes from the ground up. Big punches require weight transfer, and weight transfer means hip rotation and foot movement. If you see your opponent's rear heel lift or their hip begin to turn, something big is coming. This is especially true for hooks and overhands. Watch for the step in, too. Most people can't generate real power standing still. If you see that lead foot start to move forward, something's coming behind it. And here's a subtle one. If their weight shifts to their back foot, they're loading up for an explosive forward movement, either a level change or a power shot. Layer 4, breathing patterns. This one's sneaky but incredibly effective. People change their breathing right before they attack. They either take a sharp inhale to oxygenate, or they hold their breath to create core tension. In close range, you can actually feel this if you're paying attention. During sparring, notice when your opponent's chest expands or when they go silent. That breath hold, that's them loading the spring. Attack during their exhale when they're weakest, and defend when you hear that sharp inhale. Layer 5, range and rhythm changes. Every fighter has a rhythm, the way they move, the distance they prefer, their cadence. When that rhythm breaks, something's coming. If someone's been bouncing at a steady pace and suddenly they pause or stutter step, they're setting up an attack. Same with range. If someone's been staying outside and suddenly they lean in or take a small step closer without punching, they're measuring you. The real attack is coming on the next entry. Learn to recognize these rhythm disruptions and you'll never be caught off guard by a surprise attack again. Now here's the key. You don't consciously think through all 5 layers during a fight. That would be impossible. Instead, you train your eyes to take in the whole picture, what we call soft focus or peripheral vision dominance. Instead of staring hard at one point, you keep your gaze centered on their chest, chin, or the triangle between their shoulders while staying aware of everything in your peripheral vision. You're not looking at anything specific. You're seeing everything at once. It feels weird at first, like you're not focused, but this is exactly how you pick up multiple signals simultaneously. Think of it like driving. You don't stare at just the car in front of you, you're taking in the whole road, the cars in adjacent lanes, the traffic lights ahead, same concept. Let me give you some gold here. Most beginners have dead giveaways. The wind-up, they pull their punch back before throwing it, like cocking a gun. You'll see the glove drop or pull back to their hip. The chin drop. Right before they throw, their chin comes forward or down. It's like they're reaching with their face. The stance squaring. They square up their stance before throwing power. Orthodox fighters will bring that back foot forward slightly. The glove drop. Their opposite hand drops when they punch. Throw a jab, watch their rear hand sink. That's your opening. Once you know these tells, you can actually bait them. Make someone think they have an opening, read the tell, and counter them into oblivion. Okay, so how do you actually develop this skill? You can't just flip a switch. Here's the progression I used and that I now teach. Each drill builds on the last. Week 1, shadow study. Partner up with someone. Have them throw single punches in super slow motion, like 25% speed. Your job? Call out the punch type before it lands, but base your calls solely on what you see in their shoulder and body, not their glove. Jab, cross, hook. Get this right consistently, then gradually increase speed. Add this variation. Have them throw the punch but stop it halfway. You have to call it based purely on the setup. This trains you to read the telegraph, not the punch itself. Week 2, the pad drill. Hold focus mitts for your partner, but here's the twist. They don't tell you what combination they're throwing. You have to read their body and get the pads in position based purely on what you see loading up. This forces you to read in real time while also reacting. Once you get good at this, have them mix in feints. They fake the shoulder movement without actually throwing. This teaches you to distinguish between committed attacks and setups. Week 3, defense-only sparring. 3-minute rounds where you're only allowed to defend, no punching back. Your partner throws at about 50% power, and your goal is simple. Don't get hit clean. Slip, roll, block, parry, whatever you need. This removes the temptation to just swing back and forces you to really see. Film these rounds. Watch them back and catch the tells you missed in real time. Your brain will start recognizing patterns faster when you study tape. Week 4, the reaction ball. This one seems weird, but it works. Get a reaction ball, those rubber balls with the uneven surface that bounce unpredictably. Throw it against a wall and catch it using only your peripheral vision. Don't track the ball directly. Let your peripheral vision guide your hands. This trains that soft focus we talked about. 5 minutes a day of this and your ability to see multiple things at once will skyrocket. Week 5, the integration drill. Now you put it all together. Regular sparring, but before each round, pick one tell to focus on. This round, I'm only watching shoulders. Next round, I'm tracking their lead foot. The round after, I'm reading their breathing. After a few weeks of this focused training, your brain starts integrating all the signals automatically. You stop thinking about it and just see it. The daily homework. Film study. Here's the secret weapon that costs you nothing. Watch high-level fights with no sound. Turn off the commentary and watch fighters like Lomachenko, Mayweather, Canelo, or Anderson Silva. Slow down the footage and watch what happens in the second before they slip or counter. You'll start seeing the patterns, the shoulder dip before the slip, the weight shift before the pivot, the eye flick before the counter. Watch 15 minutes of this daily and you're basically downloading their defensive software into your brain. Here's what's wild. Most people notice a dramatic improvement within 2 weeks of dedicated practice. Your brain is incredibly adaptive. Once you teach it what to look for, it starts doing it automatically. It becomes instinct. Look, getting hit is part of combat sports. Even the best fighters in the world eat shots. But there's a massive difference between getting hit because someone is genuinely better and faster and getting hit because you're fighting blind. Learning to see punches coming isn't about becoming impossible to hit. It's about taking back control. It's about walking into sparring with confidence instead of anxiety. It's about that moment when you slip a punch you would have eaten 6 months ago and you realize you're actually getting good at this. Here's the truth nobody tells beginners. Your defense will improve faster than your offense. Why? Because defense is about recognition and reaction, and your brain is built for pattern recognition. Give it the right information and it'll do the work for you. So here's your homework. This week, pick just one thing from this video. Maybe it's watching shoulders during your next sparring session. Maybe it's doing that slow motion drill with a partner. Maybe it's just watching one fight on mute and studying the setups. Just one thing. Because here's what I learned from Marcus and that humbling right hand. You can't fix what you can't see. But once you learn to see, everything changes. Your confidence changes. Your timing changes. Your entire fighting IQ jumps levels. And here's the beautiful part. This skill compounds. Every session you practice this, you get sharper. Every punch you see coming makes the next one easier to read. 6 months from now, you'll be the one making people wonder how you slipped that punch they were sure would land. Now get out there and put in the work. And hey, if this video helped you, smash that like button and subscribe for more combat sports breakdowns every week. Drop a comment and let me know which tell you're going to focus on first. Stay sharp, keep your eyes open, and I'll see you in the next one.